Well, it's fair to say things progressed a little bit. This is part 4 of the PC build. The case has changed a little bit since the last one. If you don't watch our occasional vlogs, I did post in there the rebuild into the new case. Remember all that bad cable management? Yeah, I had to tidy up. I also made some customizations with the 3D printer. And this is the final ride for my GTX 970. Well, I said a final ride, I mean the final ride for me, because it's going to a friend. Very excited to get it over to him. So enter my new mouse mat. No, hang on. That. Yeah, it's not a 30 series. I'll tell you why. There's two reasons really. Reason number one is that my budget was getting out of control. I'd always intended this to be a PC build that was of a sensible budget, and sticking in a 3070 would have put that budget up another £500. Roughly about £150 over what I'd originally intended to spend on a card. So this 2060 Super was about £370 delivered from Amazon. I will go over the prices for the whole of the PC at the end of this video, by the way, because this is intended to be the final part of the PC build series. So the second reason I didn't go for a 30 series is because you can't get them. The 3070 was supposed to be out by now and it's been put back until the end of the month. I read online that I think it was Overclocker's website has enough pre-orders of the more expensive 3080 card to last until February. The 3070 is highly likely to be more popular. So I thought I can either wait 6 months or I can just buy a card now and actually enjoy some video gaming. So that's what I decided to do. I went for the 2060 Super and it's by EVGA, and now I'm going to stick it in the new machine. So before I was going to upgrade the card, I was going to go and show you my benchmarking scores on 3D Mark, which I did with the new machine. Spoiler warning, it didn't increase by a huge amount, purely because the graphics card was a bit of a bottleneck. Obviously we now have a new graphics card, so we can test that and find out what a difference that made. Probably later, because the website's broken. I can't be bothered waiting for it to reload. I just want to get the new card on the PC and have a play about it. Well, you can't really see it because of the reflection on this fingerprint trapped glass, but the new card's in there. EVGA GeForce RTX 2060 Super. Bit less of the lighting than the previous card, which probably isn't a bad thing given the amount of other lighting in this PC case. I've tried to tone it down with just red and white lighting to match the red and white and black of the PC. I'm just doing the times by 3D Mark now to get an idea of how much improvement there is in the new card. It's already pretty much added about 25 to 30 frames on the frames per second on the this demo video, so that is quite impressive. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a higher score. I wanted to aim for around 8,000. That might be pushing it with this card, I don't know. 7 would be fine, to be honest. 7 would be perfectly fine. This is just arbitrary scores for internet points. More important stuff for me is how games are going to behave, and of course Flight Simulator, which I'd like to play on this card. And my PC is also ready for stuff like Cyberpunk, and the new Watch Dogs game looks pretty good fun as well. Bam! I think I'm happy with that. That's without any overclock whatsoever. I managed to hit 8,625. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm just going to have a quick scroll down here because it was a couple of days ago that I ran this. Well, actually it was quite a few days ago. You can see by the date in the bottom corner. And I've been basically playing with the computer quite a lot since. Yeah, I didn't have my clock running because I've overclocked the processor. Because well, I say overclocked, it'll run at 4,400 megahertz in boost, and look, it isn't. It was running at 4,100. So I reckon I can get more out of this card and this processor combo. And I also have been doing a bit of research since I did this, because I bought an EVGA card, and EVGA offer a step up program. So if I fancy it, if I'm feeling cheeky, I can actually step up to a 3070. So then I've kind of got the best of both worlds, because I've got a card now that I can play games on. and I can join the queue to get a 3070 from EVGA, and their card was the one I was going to buy anyway, if I was going to get a 3070. I'm going to give that some thought, because there are other things I'd like to buy as well. I'd like to buy a new monitor, maybe a Quad HD monitor. I'm not too fussed about getting 144 megahertz refresh on the monitor. Is it megahertz? I'm more interested in just getting a bit more screen real estate. I don't play action games. Yeah, so but yeah, that opportunity is there. I'd also quite like to get the new Oculus Quest 2. Is it Oculus Quest 2, the new VR headset that's literally... I've not really done any research for this video, I've just sat down and recorded it. And I've been reading a lot of stuff online, so my head's a bit... but yeah, I'd like to get that as a first VR headset to have a play about with. And that's a nice VR headset because it works independently of the computer, but you can also use it with the computer. So I'm just waiting to see more reviews. I have also possibly entered quite a lot of competitions to try and win one. You never know. But yeah, that's an interesting potential future upgrade route. So I now have the option to either do the step up program now and get a 3070, or maybe in a year and a half or 2 years just get a new card anyway, because there'll be plenty upgrade potential with this machine. Already the processor has been replaced by a newer one. We only bought it 2 weeks ago. But the increase in performance isn't really worth me upgrading. I mean, I could step up to a higher level processor that'll fit in this board, because I left room in it for that. So, you know. Future proofing never really at the top of my list, because I generally build a complete new system every time I build. Where I standard upgrades, well, like cases and stuff, I don't generally upgrade. He says, having just put it all in a new case. I love this new case, by the way. People say that this new case, the airflow is not great on it. I'm not struggling because of the stuff I'm doing with the computer. And the cable management was an absolute breeze. It looks way better than the old case. And it just looks nice on the side. That's why I've put it up on the desk next to me, because I'm not embarrassed to have to push it away. There was nothing inherently wrong with the last case. I just, when you opened the side of it, it looked a mess, ultimately. The case itself, it was fine. Anyway, enough waffling. The important stuff is, these are just internet points. This means nothing, this 3D mark. I'm going to go and try Flight Simulator and see what that looks like. Right, so we're in the menu. I've now got this installed on an SSD, solid state drive. Much quicker loading times, I've noticed that straight away. But I'm going to do a similar sort of setup to last time. I haven't watched that video back since I made it, but I'm pretty sure I just set small flight with Liverpool as my departure point and Blackpool as my arrival point. So we just flew from Liverpool to Blackpool, and to make it equal to what we had last time, I'm going to have AI turned off. Weather is going to be custom. I'm going to put it on clear skies. I'm going to make it the time of day live, because it doesn't really matter too much right now. Close that. We'll do it in a Cessna. Should we do it in a Cessna? Yeah, let's run a Cessna. As far as settings, I have put it on some settings. I'm not sure where the settings are. We'll have a look at the settings when we get in game, because I know I can get to them very easily from the... Oh, hang on, is it here? No, it's not. Never mind. We'll have a look at them when we're in game. Anyway, off we go. So that's interesting. That ties in with the fact that I've just ordered a new router, because I've been having some network problems here. Apparently my bandwidth is too low. The Wi-Fi up here is not great. So anyway, we'll deal with that later. But yeah, we're in the game now. Settings-wise, we are now running it on global rendering quality of high-end. That seems to have changed since last time. I'm sure that was medium, high-end, ultra. Okay, I'm running it on high-end. Terrain level of detail 100, render scaling 100. Lots and lots of settings here. If you want to go through those, pause the video now and have a look. Basically, just the standard high-end setting at 1080p. So on the last PC, I had to run it at reduced. Did I run it at 1080p? I really had considerably reduced settings, but I also had that render scaling turned down, and we were getting a lot of frame drops down to like 10-15 frames at times. But we'll discard all those changes. I don't want to change any of that stuff. We'll resume, and we're now getting 65 to 70 while we're on the ground. Obviously that might change as we do some mad stuff, like it just drops there. Again, we've got the situation where I'm not flying this thing, I'm going to leave the pilot to fly it, but already it's much smoother. And one thing I can see straight away, and I'm hoping this will be the case when I come to edit this is on the video, on the recording side over here on the other monitor, I can see that my face isn't going, and hopefully the audio is complete. Oh, we're cleared for takeoff. I'm going to let the co-pilot control it again because I don't have my flight stick plugged in. I do have a flight stick. It's down here. But I just don't have it plugged in. But yeah, we're getting between 40 and 60 frames quite stably now, with the same settings as last time. That's more than playable, so I'm happy with that. So we'll let the guy take off. We'll be flying over Liverpool, and then we'll put some weather and stuff on, and you can see how it behaves then compared to how it used to behave, because that was when it really tanked. The nice thing is, the other week we did a video from Speak Hall. Speak Hall's here. It's actually a block of flats in this game, but it is down there. The way it renders things, if they haven't done the photographic rendering of the buildings, it tries to best guess them, which it does a pretty good job of on most buildings, because they're kind of like warehouses and stuff, but Speak Hall is not a Tudor manor here, it's a block of flats in the woods. But yeah, the co-pilot's flying, he's taken off, he's doing a pretty good job. He's supposed to be going that way. Is he going to bank and make a turn, or is he just going to fly over the Wirral? I kind of did want it to be an equivalent test to the last one, but if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. But anyway, let's chuck some weather on. We got clear skies at a minute. The live weather in Liverpool is currently this. So whenever you put the weather effects on, you do get a bit of pausing. That is not accurate at all. I'm looking at the window now, and the weather does not look like that. I'm wondering if the live weather is being stymied because we don't have streaming connection. It's entirely possible. But anyway, it's more like probably that, or maybe that. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, live weather's not coming down. And yeah, I mean, it's still working pretty well. Yeah, and also we could probably put that really crazy storm on if we wanted to, that you would not want to be flying in. But I think the best weather effects on this are like sort of somewhere in between, like that, or that. Oh, that's actually standard British weather there. Overcast. It's gloomy. Oh, the plane's up and down. Warning, successfully connected. That's a warning I've seen before. I've never seen before. Warning, everything is fine. Does that mean we can get the live weather? Tell you what, I was going to say I'll plug my wired connection in because I've turned it off of late, but I actually deactivated it in control panel. Yeah, that's perfect. That is actually pretty much Liverpool weather right now. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm really happy with this. It looks good. We do get some frame drops when you change weather, but then it settles out to a much more usable pace. I think that is more just the way the game is coded rather than the actual hardware that I'm using. So this is where I get to this situation where, like, I've got this card here. I can pay no further money on this PC and I'd be happy with it. So like, I'm now sort of thinking maybe I probably won't bother with the 3070, but I know how indecisive I can be, so we'll see what happens. And another game that I do play a lot of, quite a resource intensive game, surprisingly, is Planet Zoo. This is the zoo that I've been working on in my spare time. This is a sandbox zoo, so I can build what I want. So I thought I'd show you through this as well, because this is another reason why I built the PC. I was starting to get quite a lot of lag and frame drops on my laptop downstairs, and my other PC that this one replaced struggled because the processor was a little older. So the problem with this game is because it's drawing all the path in for all of these people, thousands and thousands of people, you can very quickly find your computer tanks because... Oh, I went in a bit zoomy then, didn't I? Because drawing all these people takes a lot of resource. Basically, it's intensive on your processor rather than your graphics card. Look at the graphics though on this, they're beautiful. So well done. and pet the lioness. This is a lovely game. I do have the Coaster one as well. I've probably played a lot more of the Planet Coaster one than I have the Zoo one of late, to be honest. So far. But yeah, really happy with this. I think that probably summarises the whole build, to be honest. I'm really happy with how it's gone. No major issues. No minor issues, really. I had more issues putting together my other PC, again, for my friend. When I rebuilt it, I managed to pull the CPU cooler off the motherboard because the old Intel cooler failed. So I had to replace that. But that was replaced, and yeah, that's good to go now, and he's using it and he's really happy with it. So I think that's a good outcome too. Look at the chimpanzee. So I will leave you there, I think, with this chimpanzee, and then we'll leave you with a chimpanzee. That's not what you want to hear. Is oh, I've remembered something I've not done, and it's an important part of this that I promised I would do. Let's talk costs. I'm going to have to do some research for this one, and I'll be back in a bit. The grooming. Right, so I've just done the maths for the first time. And it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I've done a pretty good job, because yesterday I noticed that the company Scan are selling a pre-built game system. So that's just the tower, not the keyboard, mouse, monitor and everything. They're selling that at £100 off for £1,000, and it's a very similar spec to what I've built, and I'll go into detail about what changes and why I think I've done a pretty good job here to meet sort of what they're building for £1,000. So I bought a Asus ROG Strix motherboard B550F. It's the Wi-Fi model, so my motherboard has built-in Wi-Fi and built-in Bluetooth. That was £169.98. But Asus did a cashback offer for £25 cashback, so it cost me £144.98. That's assuming I get the cashback. They've approved it, it's still pending. I bought that from Amazon to compare that to the Scan build. They're using an older generation, a B450 motherboard. So yeah, I mean, they are slightly cheaper and more common now. You can get some compatibility issues between motherboard and processor on those, but obviously Scan would deal with that for you because it's a pre-built system. I wouldn't have, I would have had to deal with that myself. Some boards it's easy, some it's more difficult. Moving on to the processor itself, it's a AMD 3600X processor, so that is the last generation of AMD processors. They've literally just announced a new generation. I'm not too worried about that because the new generation is more expensive. That cost me £200 from Currys. But through one of those work incentive schemes where you get cash back or you can buy vouchers at a discount, we actually got an 8% discount on that, so it actually only cost me £184, which bringing it down to the level of the 3600 processor, which is just a tiny little bit slower. That's the processor that Scan are using in their system. My main boot drive is the Sabrent Rocket Q 1TB SSD. It's an NVMe M2 drive. It's not the fastest, but it'll do for me because the system boots up in seconds. That cost me £109.99. There have been deals I probably could have got cheaper since, but it wasn't too bad at the time. The RAM I'm using, I got a really good deal on that. That's been on the UK PC buyers sales subreddit a few times. I got Crucial Ballistics 3600 MHz. I think it's CL16 for the nerds. RAM, 16 gigabytes thereof was £68.39. The Scan system, they're using 3200, so it's slightly slower. AMD processors apparently react really well to overclocks on RAM, so I can run mine theoretically at 3600, but I'm running it at 3333 megahertz because if I push it to 3600 I'm getting post issues at start. I don't know how to overclock RAM, so I'm using the standard system overclocks for it, so there's a chance I could get it to run at 3600 if I spent a bit of time learning, but to be honest right now it works. I'm happy. The case I bought is the NZXT H510i, which is what offers the lights. So in the case itself you can see I do have some lighting. That lighting is controllable, so I can change the colours of it. And that was £99.87. If I didn't want the lights, I could have saved myself 30 quid, but I kind of thought, let's make it look a bit lighty-uppy. Not too lighty-uppy, just subtle. I can't really compare with the scan system there. They're using a different case. That's, you know, it's personal taste, that one. One thing that Scan are using is exactly the same as me, is that they're using the GeForce RTX 2060 Super from EVGA. And mine cost 371 quid from Amazon. Everything else, by the way, other than the processor that I got from Currys, came from Amazon for this build. The graphics card actually came from Germany. So yeah, it was like overnighted from Germany by Amazon. I don't understand their supply chain. Yeah, they obviously must have leased a plane or something. But yeah, that was 371 quid. And as I said previously, I can use the step up to get the 3070 when it releases at the end of this month. If Nvidia were to announce tomorrow a 3060 and EVGA drop that at the end of the month, I'd probably be quite happy to go with that. And to be honest, it probably wouldn't cost me very much as well, because the 3060 would be the direct replacement for the card that I did buy. So anyway, sum total of that without the fans that I used was £833.25. So I did come significantly under Scan's build at £1,000, but obviously I didn't have to buy a power supply. So to complete the picture, I did go away and price a power supply, my power supply being the EVGA 650 GQ 80 Plus Gold. It's £105. I think I paid about 80 for it. That's crazy. I think prices on PSUs have gone through the roof. But anyway, that puts my build at £938.25. So stick a Windows key in there and we're pretty much about the same as the Scan build. The Scan build would come with a warranty, but all my parts have warranties. So, I mean, I can take out the power supply. Oh, actually, the power supply doesn't have a warranty because it's old. But I can take out the graphics card. That's got a 3-year warranty. The processor and the motherboard there, you know, it's all warranted. So, yeah, individually, I could send my parts back and get them replaced if anything went wrong with them. And that very rarely happens once you put it in the PC and the PC's running. It's generally either it doesn't work when it's been delivered or it dies after about 5 years of hard use. So there we go. What do you think? Do you think I did alright? I think I did. I'm sure there's places where people could improve on it. But I've got a decent build. I'm getting a nice 3D Max score. Internet points, woo. And I can play Flight Simulator at a steady frame rate. And I have also upgrade routes. So, yeah, happy with that. So that brings part 4 of the PC building videos to a conclusion. What else have we got planned for this series? Not much right now. I did find an old PC build in the cupboard. It might be kind of fun to have a look at that and see how bad I was at building PCs many years ago, and see if it still works. And by old, I mean it's 2003, 2004, so even if it still works, I'll be surprised, to be honest with you. But yeah, anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, ring the bell, honk the hooter. Have a nice cake. See you soon. Bye.